When we think of human resources, we tend to associate with hiring, firing, and disciplinary actions. Today's human resource departments manage the work-life balances of individuals who work in organizations. They do much more than hire and fire. HR department gets involved in many different processes within the organization. Selection process, testing, interviews. They get involved in performance evaluations and many other activities. HR departments get involved in checking backgrounds, doing tests, doing credit checks, and other forms of verification to ensure that the person being hired is a good fit for the job. Competent employees don't remain competent forever. You may hire a very competent employee, but over a period of time, their skills deteriorate and they can become obsolete, and new skills are needed to be learned. That's why organizations spend billions of dollars each year in formal training. The human resource organization identifies training skills and manages employee training. Training covers everything from basic reading skills to advanced courses in executive leadership. Most training is aimed at upgrading and improving an employee's technical skills. The technical training has become increasingly important today for two different reasons: new technology and new structural design in organization. Job change as a result of new technology and improved methods. For example, many auto repair personnel have to undergo extensive training to fix and maintain new model cars because of the computer monitored engines. After the hiring process and the training process, how will your work be evaluated? Performance evaluations are also another huge burden on the human resource management team. Performance evaluations help management make general human resource decisions. It also identifies training and development needs and provides needed feedback to employees. The most popular criteria for evaluating performance are individual task outcomes, behaviors, and traits. If ends count rather than means, then management should evaluate an employee's task's outcome. For example, salespeople are often evaluated on whether they are meeting sales quotas. But sometimes it's difficult to identify specific outcomes, especially for employees in advisory or support positions. Who should do the evaluations? By tradition, the tasks has always fallen on the manager of the organization or department, on the grounds that managers are held responsible for their employees' performance. But with many of today's organizations using self-managed teams, telecommuting, and other distant factors, supervisors may no longer be the most reliable judge of the employee's performance. It's now quite common for employees to rate themselves as well as having their peers rate them. The human resource department are involved in many other functions that help the smooth running of the organization: writing job descriptions, performing salary range surveys, developing benefit plans, providing performance evaluation due dates, assisting in performance evaluations, assisting managers with disciplinary actions, conflict resolution, to name a few. HR is perceived as the equity or fairness police in most organizations. If the company executives make the policies, the human resources department enforces these policies so that there is fairness to all concerned. Most employees forget that the human resources' first responsibility is to their management and then to the employees. If you as an individual are looking for a career in human resources, keep in mind that your personality to job fit must be met. If you are a person that's an extrovert, sociable, and very friendly, the HR job will be a challenge for you because while at work, you cannot make friends with employees and staff or even managers. You need to keep your distance so that your role is not compromised. In the day-to-day environment, HR departments are involved in managing diversity and cultural differences, in promoting employee wellness programs, in promoting work-life balance for employees, managing disputes between employees, and becoming the liaison between management and unions. Our next topic is on communication. Did you know that we spend more time in communicating than doing anything else during our waking day? Almost 70% of our waking hours are spent on communicating. And communication may be in the form of writing, reading, speaking, listening. Communication serves many functions. First, it controls member behavior in several ways. When employees are required to communicate job-related grievances to their immediate bosses, or to follow their own job descriptions, or to comply with company policy, for example, communication is performing a control function. Second, communication fosters motivation by clarifying for employees what they need to do, how well they're doing, and how they can improve their performance. Setting specific goals, giving feedback on progress towards these goals, and reinforcing desired behavior all stimulate motivation and require communication. In its third function, communication provides a release for the emotional expression of feeling and for fulfillment of social needs. The final function of communication is to facilitate decision-making. Communication provides the information that individuals and groups need to make decisions. The communication process passes between sender and receiver. The sender encodes a message and passes it through a communication channel to the receiver, who decides to give it some meaning. Feedback is the check on how successful we've been in transferring our message to the intended receiver. Communication can flow vertically or laterally. There are three major ways to communicate: oral communication, written communication, and body language. Written communication includes memos, faxes, emails, and anything else that is transmitted via the written word. Written messages are valuable because they are tangible and verifiable. Nonverbal communication includes everything from facial expression to annotations and physical distance between receiver and sender. Communication in today's organization is enhanced by computer-aided technologies. Email is the most popular way of communicating today in many companies. Do you believe that there is a difference between the way men and women communicate? According to your textbook, research shows that men tend to use communication to emphasize their status, while women use it to create connections. Men tend to be more direct than women, and women tend to be less boastful than men, and they do apologize more. Being aware of these potential differences can help you from falling into a gender communication gap. Cross-cultural factors can create the potential for communication problems. For example, the OK sign in the United States means good, everything is going fine. But in Australia or Islamic countries, this could be a very negative term. As a guide to cross-cultural differences is to assume differences until similarity is proven. Emphasize description rather than interpretation or evaluation. Practice empathy and treat your own interpretations as working hypotheses about meaning rather than about facts.